Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, top 1 financial advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. All right, it is official. Elon Musk is buying Twitter for approximately $44 billion, and he will be taking the company private. So what does that mean for investors? What does that mean for society? And what could happen next? So let's go ahead and discuss. So again, $44 billion for Twitter, $25 billion of that is going to be a loan. I believe the remaining funds are going to come from personal equity. So of companies and things that he owns, he can sell off a portion of those shares. Is that Tesla? A portion of it? Probably so. In fact, Tesla shares were down, I think, close to 2%, while Twitter shares were up close to 6%. So just news and notes there. What it means to be a public company, we've talked about this before. Like a McDonald's, McDonald's is required to tell us how they're doing every quarter. We heard about Coca-Cola and how they're doing. They're doing quite well. When you take it private, you go from really a McDonald's to a Chick-fil-A, where you can't buy shares of Chick-fil-A. I don't know how well they're doing unless they tell us. I don't know how much money they're making unless they tell us. And that is the direction that Twitter is going to go. This is supposed to be completed in 2022. I would imagine it's going to be longer than 2 weeks. But again, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, I have no idea. I'm sure there's a much more complex process that's well above my pay grade, but it will become private. If you currently own shares of Twitter, based on the information that we have, you're going to get the $54.20 per share. So let's say you bought it at 50, you're going to get a decent profit. Okay. Now, if you buy it at, if the stock continues to grow between now and this finalization date, I can't tell you. I personally, if you don't own shares of Twitter now, I would not try and jump in and game the system. That just sounds like a very risky process. If you currently own it, you're trying to figure out whether to get out or not. Again, very risky process. I told you not to buy it anyway. So that's just me. But it sounds like if you currently own it, you're going to get the $54.20. And unless you bought it when it was at $70, you should be getting a profit here. So I would just hold on, get my money. If it goes above $54.20, then I'm going to cash out and get my money. I just want to make sure I get my gain out of this. But the other risk is, what if it goes to 90, right? Between now and the time this happens. Again, I don't know. The likelihood of that happening, I honestly don't know. Just again, because I didn't know the likelihood, I don't know how to really gauge this particular situation. That's why I didn't invest. If I don't know it, I'm not going to invest in it. Okay? See how that works? See how that works? All right, so let's discuss a few other things that you should be aware about. So he's looking to obviously take the company private, but in his quotes, and I'll put the quote here and read it too, is basically he wants to center this around free speech. And he says that free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy. This is true. It is. The problem is Twitter, whether a public company or private company, is not a democracy. It is not the U.S. government. And last time I checked, when you look at the Constitution, it protects your right to free speech against the government. You can say whatever you want to the U.S. government, state government, city government, council, city council. You can go to the school board, say what you want to say, right? You are allowed the right to do that. It does not protect your right to say anything you want to me, or to random person on the street, or to any social media platform. That is not protected. So his thing is, I'm going to make this a place for free speech. And my question is really this: does that make the company more valuable? Will that make you more money if you were to do that, assuming that it is not done already? So let's say that Twitter is now the best platform for free speech. Anybody can say whatever they want. Are you going to pay for that? And if so, how much are you willing to pay for it? Is it $1 per month? $2 a month? Is it $50? I don't know. Right? I would not pay for that, because I pretty much say what I need to say now, right? I've never gotten blocked. Now, some people have, depending on what they say. But the other thing, and the most important thing, is this. What happens, right, if there are no rules? You can say whatever you want. What happens when a thing starts to be harmful? And who is going to police that? And how will they police that? So, for example, I am in a position of influence, okay? You can feel how you want to feel about that, but I'm in a certain position of influence. We've got 3,000 subscribers here on YouTube. I have 400-something thousand on public. And if I came out and said, hey, Elon Musk is buying ApeCoin or X company. He's buying shares of this. You need to buy it right now, immediately. Whatever you got, take out of your 401k, take out of your savings, and put everything into this random company or random coin. Go and do that right now. If I did that, and I bought shares early, and I told you to take everything you had and your life savings and all that and pump the company up and sold it and let you take that loss, should that be allowed if there are no rules? Most of us would say no. That is a dangerous situation, and you absolutely should not have the ability to do that. The problem is Elon Musk has already done that at least 3 times with his 80 million followers, and I'm sure he's going to allow himself to do whatever he wants to do because now it's his company, right? So for example, I think this was in 2018 where he said, oh, well, Tesla shares are too high. I think the company's overvalued. Stock tanks, right? And he got in trouble with the SEC for that. Then he came out just on a whim and said, hey, Tesla is going to accept Bitcoin for payment. Bitcoin soars. And he says, I don't know. We're not going to accept it for payment. Bitcoin crashes. Then he had the whole Dogecoin saga where he made some tweets about Dogecoin. Dogecoin absolutely took off. And he said, that's a hustle. I was just kind of playing. And then Dogecoin drops. I don't think you should be allowed to really play with other people's money, because people take what he has and just and runs with it exuberantly. He has way more influence and has a way with people. People really like that, and it's hard to protect those who may not know the difference, because we all start different journeys. Like now, I know how to evaluate that stuff, right? I've been doing it for 12 years. But someone who just started yesterday may not know the difference and may not know how to protect themselves or allocate their money and make sure that they're not being overly confident in certain things. So that is the concern there. And will this make Twitter more valuable? And how are people going to be protected from nefarious acts, from misinformation, from lies, from things that are being manipulated? I don't know how Elon does this, because he's been, not necessarily on the right side of things in the past. But it's been clearly very difficult because Mark Zuckerberg couldn't figure it out either, and Jack Dorsey couldn't figure it out either, and they founded Twitter and Facebook respectively. So we'll see how that works. The other thing that I am concerned about is how we, as just a general public, perhaps overrate the capacity or the talent of certain billionaires who have a personality. I'm gonna just say it like that. Okay, so think of it like this: Elon Musk is buying Twitter. Automatically, everybody thinks that Twitter is going to be tenfold better, and that is a possibility. I'm not saying that it's not possible. It is definitely possible. Is it likely? I don't know. The founder of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, who is also a billionaire, was not able to do it. But because Elon Musk and he's kind of different, right, and he has a flair about him, you think that he can do anything. So the way I would look at this and really turn this example on its head is say this: let's say that Elon Musk wants to buy the Detroit Lions. Just picking a team. Detroit. I'm sorry, I got friends. Sorry, Shirley. I got friends who are in Detroit who love, or from Detroit rather, who love the Lions. The Lions are trash. Okay, for those that don't know, we're talking about football. The Lions are absolutely trash. They've been the worst team my entire life. Okay, and I'm not a Detroit fan, but they're the worst team in my entire life. They're owned by a billionaire. Almost every U.S. team, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, are owned by some billionaire, right? But because you don't know who they are, you may overrate and say like, oh, because he has a personality, he's going to make the Detroit Lions. If Elon bought the Lions, they're automatically become the Patriots. They're automatically going to become the Cowboys if you like them. They're automatically going to win 5 Super Bowls in a row. Why? The person who owns them is a billionaire too. They've been successful in life too. Just because this guy is more fun to be around, or at least seems more fun to be around, that's going to make the team better? This is not a personality contest. This is a business, right? And he has made other businesses great, just like every other NFL and NBA owner. They usually, like Jerry Jones, great in oil, right? And he happened to be great in sports at one point in time. But every team is owned by some billionaire who did really great in X industry and comes into sports and ain't good, right? Take Michael Jordan, for example. He was great at playing basketball. He's a billionaire, so he's clearly smart. He's clearly done something right. Great at apparel, but a terrible owner. And at some point, right, you have to have exhausted those resources. You're good at Tesla. He was good at PayPal. That's how he got his money to begin with. He's good at maybe SpaceX. The Boring Company, which you probably haven't heard about, ain't done so well. Twitter, we'll see, right? So my thing is that we don't want to just overrate just because a person has money. person has personality that automatically means something. Like it doesn't always match that way. Mark Cuban, right? Got a billionaire plus personality. He bought the Mavericks. It worked, right? It ain't worked since, but it did work. But for every one Elon Musk, for every one, Mark Cuban, there are tons and tons and tons of other billionaires that it has not worked for. Steve Ballmer, who owns the Clippers, what has he done as an owner of the Clippers? He did great at Microsoft, right? Real good. He got the Clippers, and they steal the Clippers. They ain't did nothing, right? So is owning a NBA sports franchise or whatever the same as owning Twitter? They're not equal, but the concepts are still the same. You can be successful in one area and not have a clue in the next. And we're gonna find out if Elon does or doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't. I just think it's unlikely to be able to spin all these things in such a difficult space, because you do not value Twitter right now. Okay, you as a user, if you're on Twitter, you are not clamoring, hey, I will pay X amount of dollars to be on Twitter, because you haven't. You ain't asked somebody to pay for that. So just because he owns it, you're gonna pay now for what? What is gonna make it that much better? Yes, you can get the edit button. You actually could have gotten the edit button a few months ago, because Twitter released Twitter Blue, where you can do that for like $3 a month. Guess who's not paying for that either? Okay, so we'll see what happens. That's just my thoughts and reactions and my rant about it. Let me know what you think in the comments. It'll be a lively discussion. All right, that is it for me. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. We've got a lot of stuff to cover. We'll see where this Twitter thing goes. But we know that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be big earnings days. You can throw Friday in there too if you're in the energy company. So, there's a lot. That is enough for me. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. And that's it. All right.